Hello and welcome to the oddschecker betting show sponsored by Unibet. This is the Punchestown Festival Day 2 preview. I'm your host, George Elek. I'm delighted to be joined, as I was just now for Day 1, by Ed Quigley as we look ahead to Wednesday's racing at Punchestown. And Unibet, the good people at Unibet, our sponsors, have an offer for you if you don't already have an account. It's a welcome offer, money back up to £40 if your first racing bet loses, and a £10 casino bonus as well. So make sure you click on the link below, and I'll be talking through the Unibet prices as we go on this preview. But we've done our pleasantries, Ed. We've spoken already about how we are and how we're doing and how we're looking forward to the week. So if you want to hear how Ed is, go back and watch Day 1. But let's get straight into the racing then on Day 2, and starting with the 4:15. And normally, because we're gonna swerve the 3:40 because there are no prices yet. There aren't any prices either in the 4:15, but it's a decent race. Ed has a view, so we're going to go through it, and I'll just run through. We've got 13 runners here, including the likes of 3-card Bragg, Sandor Clegane. There's a few decent sorts in here. Fine margin. As I say, no prices now. Unibet will be out shortly. Ed, who are you kind of hoping comes out at a bigger price?
Yeah, I'm guessing by my tissue that Sandor Clegane will probably be favourite here over 3-card Bragg. I'm guessing kind of 9-4, maybe 5-2. I don't know. My days of odds compiling along behind me, but Sandor Clegane though. Put it this way: if we were going on a match, Sandor Clegane versus 3-card Bragg, I'd very much be with Paul Nolan's representative. I just think we'll have too many gears for 3-card Bragg, which sounds a little bit funny given that 3-card Bragg did win over a similar trip at Fairyhouse, but all the vibes from connections are the ground is essential for 3-card Bragg to be seen at his best. I mean, all three wins in his career have come with the going description heavy, somewhere underfoot. When he won at Fairyhouse back in January, I mean, they were coming home in different postcodes, weren't they? They were so tired, and it was far from disgraced when kind of plodding on the one pace in fifth in the Albert Bartlett. Well, I just think Sandor Clegane's got a bit more kind of tactical speed. We saw that when this horse won at Punchestown here over a couple of furlongs further back in November, but quickened up nicely to win. And then again was pretty keen over 2-6 and Nathaniel Lacey at the Dublin Racing Festival, but didn't look devoid of pace at any point in that race. So what I thought was encouraging was how well the horse settled when finishing third in the Albert Bartlett, obviously 2 places ahead of 3-card Bragg. But I think meeting over 2.5 is massively swaying even more to Sandor Clegane's favour. But this way, if you run the Albert Bartlett over 2.5 miles, I think the distance between Sandor Clegane and 3-card Bragg would have been significantly better. And I just think Sandor Clegane will have too many gears here. There are, of course, some lighter race types that we've touched upon who've not had the hard battles perhaps that a few of those have, including a Senior Chief who represents the Henry de Bromhead team, have really clicked in recent times. And again, this is a lightly raced sort, arriving on a hat trick, looks versatile in regards to ground, and I'm sure will be popular with punters. So yeah, fascinating race. But I'm Sandor Clegane's north of 5-2. I'll definitely be getting involved. I suppose that just to touch upon it's quite a boring point, but it's a salient one. By the time we get to Wednesday, the ground probably will dictate this market massively, because if the market is reacting to everything Gordon Elek keeps saying, in the sense that this horse must have it as heavy as possible, there is a chance this could dry up towards yielding. That's going to be massively against 3-card Bragg, especially dropping back in trip. And the market could really 3-card Bragg could take a huge drift in the market. So yeah, Sandor Clegane for me. Be disappointed if he doesn't win, and I think he'll make a smashing chaser next season. And I think he could go 2.5, or even step up to 3, back over 3 for fences next year. But I think he's a very smart sort. He's got scope to be a good chaser, and he's also got cracking form at Punchestown. He's won here twice. So yeah, no prices yet. I'm having a wild guess in terms of prices, but Sandor Clegane for me, I just think he is the absolute class act in here, and I think he can get the job done.
Sandor Clegane, the one for Ed, hoping for a bit of 5-2 or bigger. And Unibet are boosting the price of the favourite in this 4:15, 4:45, 5:20, 5:55 and 6:30 as well. So if you go on to Unibet at 3 o'clock or later on Wednesday, obviously before They go down to post, ideally. Then you'll get a boost on whoever is favourite. So do look out for that. Skipping the 4:45, no prices there. Onto the novice hurdle next up in the 5:20. And here we have Gaelic Warrior stepping up in trip. Is 5-6 favourite ahead of Salvador Ziggy. Ahead of Affordable Fury, who's 11-2. Salvador Ziggy 6-1 with Unibet. 15-2 about Embassy Gardens. Favori de Champs is 10-1. 16-1 Harry Zongray. 20-1 What Could Have Been. 33-1 Calanisi Star. 40-1 Franciscan Rock. So 9 runners here with an odds-on favourite in Gaelic Warrior, who just run a cracker in seconds. And interestingly, a lot of the quirks that always seem to be the buzzwords around Gaelic Warrior, he looked pretty true and jumped pretty straight.
Yeah, he did. That was the worry, wasn't it, about heading right-handed in his obstacles. By and large, he was much straighter in that department. I think it was fair to say. Interesting here, as you say, coming up to best part of 3 miles for this one, because I still thought he was keen enough over the extended 2.5. He was a little bit free early on. You can't say he's not seen out the trip well over 2.5 in the Ballymore. He's just chased one of the best horses in training in Imperon Pass, who, absolutely pulverised them. But Gaelic Warrior up to 3 miles here will need to settle better. That would be my slight worry. And obviously, if Paul can get Gaelic Warrior switched off, then the world's his oyster over this distance. But Affordable Fury is a totally different type of horse, probably not one with any kind of natural quirks or perhaps the raw ability of Gaelic Warrior. But we got confirmation bias at Cheltenham in the Albert Bartlett that staying is not a problem. Stepped up to 3 miles in the Albert Bartlett last time out. To be honest with you, a 4-mile Albert Bartlett would have been perfect for Affordable Fury. And this horse is all stamina. I mean, 150-1. And you watch it back. There's no fluke about the performance. Was held up off the pace, made some real eye-catching headway, and just stayed on really strongly towards the line. It was a really good run. Obviously, the aforementioned Sandor Clegane, the neck back in third there, and just couldn't quite reel in Stairway Fay. I know ground here is quite boring, but ground could again play a huge part. If this turns into a real battle of wheels, and we do get some heavy rains arrive on the Wednesday, Affordable Fury against a keen going Gaelic Warrior up to 3. I'd be a bit nervous as a Gaelic Warrior backer. A fascinating race here. My gut instinct is just telling me that the Affordable Fury, hard to knock out the frame. If we've got the 9 going to post, kind of hard to knock that individual out the frame each way. If you can, replicate 90% of that run at the Cheltenham Festival, that's going to put him bang in the mix here. And he improved massively for a proper test of stamina and going up in trip. So yeah, Gaelic Warrior holds most of this field by around £10 or upwards, doesn't he? And if he can bring his 2.5 mile form to the table, he will win. But Affordable Fury, get my pronunciations right, for Noel Mead, my each way selection against Gaelic Warrior.
Affordable Fury 11-2 their second favourite behind Gaelic Warrior. Also Gaelic Warrior, if this experiment at the longer trip does work, Gaelic Warrior with Unibet is 25-1 for next year's Stayers Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. Unibet do have the most Cheltenham Festival markets priced up of anyone, and you can find all the races up there, so do check that out if you're that way inclined in April 2023. Yes, so Affordable Fury 11-2. Move on then to the 5:55, which is the Punchestown Gold Cup. Fascinating this, and I'm intrigued to know what you'll say. I mean, Galopin Des Champs couldn't have been more impressive, of course, in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, but 130 on seems very short in what looks to be a pretty decent field, because Bravemansgame hopefully will turn up and is 9-2 second favourite, and the returning Envoy Allen is 10-1 after that festival win. Hewick 20-1, Fury Road 28-1, Fast or Slow 50-1. A really interesting little 6-runner trappy affair, this one. What do you make of Galopin's price at the top?
I suppose it's by default, it's about right. And my gut feeling is Bravemansgame and Galopin should be a bit closer together in the market than they are. The general consensus is coming back to 3 miles helps Bravemansgame, and I would kind of concur with that sentiment, really. I do. I think this is less of a test of stamina. With all the political wranglings that have been going on, I think Bravemansgame not making it to Aintree could be a massive blessing in disguise. He bombed out at Aintree last season and ran really flat. He's had a bit of extra time to prepare for this. I think Galopin Des Champs will probably win. I think Bravemansgame over this trip, providing he's, is okay. He's going to give him something to think about here on a inverted commas relative test of speed compared to 3¼ miles at Prestbury Park. Hard to try and find a natural betting angle in here. I was looking up some of those shocks I spoke about earlier in the show. I think Planet Sound won at a huge price. Follow the Plan was a massive one. China Rock. They were going through them. There's been a few ones that have made the bookies laugh all the way to the bank on the evening. And it is that type of race where sometimes horses just gone over the hill. That is the worry. You wouldn't have thought you could kind of put that tag to Galopin Des Champs, could you? I mean, he's not exactly been exerted a lot this season. Didn't make his seasonal reappearance in December, did he? Over 2.5, and then has had the 2 races since. So, yeah, funny old one. Depending on what the ground was doing, if it didn't get too soft, I think Hewick is the overpriced one. I've got to try and find some betting here or some angle, either with distances or each way without the favourite or something. I've got to find a Hewick angle. I just haven't come up with it yet because. Obviously the sentimental story of the €800 purchase aside, I mean, this horse's transformation and rise through the ranks, absolutely phenomenal, it has to be said. And obviously there are a few jumping frailties here. He's failed to complete on the last 2 starts, but watch that Gold Cup back. Your eyes don't lie, really. I mean, he was jumping 3 out, going really well, was just starting to tire when crashing out 2 from home. I think coming back down in trip to the 3 miles will probably suit him. If the ground has dried up a little bit by the Wednesday. I said that the weather forecasts are a little bit of a lottery from what I can see. But if the ground isn't riding too soft, to make him an outright price of around 22, 20 to 1 or thereabouts, probably, I think, does him a bit of a disservice. So I've got to find an angle in with Hewick. Envoy Allen, I don't know what to make of it. I've given up with this show. I think myself and Andy have just given up with Envoy Allen on. It's clearly just absolutely loves Cheltenham, doesn't he? I suppose that would probably be the thing you take away from him. Yeah, fair play to him, winning the Ryanair chase. He was woeful at this meeting 12 months ago, albeit the horse was under a little bit of a cloud and it was the wrong trip. But he's run some shockers at Punchestown. He was set off a short price a couple of years ago when he was pulled up. And I think he was beaten on another occasion. I can't remember who beat him now, but it's not been one of his happy hunting grounds for Envoy Allen. I don't think Punchestown. So he has a real kind of Jekyll and Hyde profile. So yeah, expect Galopin Des Champs to win, but I think there are others in here which may make him go through the gears perhaps more than his price suggests. So I'm probably going to play Hewick for the forecast or some form of betting angle I haven't come to yet. But I'm gonna get Hewick onside.
Get Hewick onside. 21 in the outright market, but there'll be plenty of other ways to do so. Come 5:55 on Wednesday. So do check out Unibet for their other markets. They might have their Hewick the one to side with in what promises to be a cracking Punchestown Gold Cup on Wednesday. The 6:30, 2 more races to preview. We've got the bumper now, just over the extended 2 miles, where A Dream to Share is the 5-4 favourite ahead of Tully Hill at 2 to 1. It's for me is 15 to 2. Rathgirl Boy is 17 to 2. Western Diego 9 to 1. 16 to 1. No Time to Wait. 18 to 1. King of Kingsfield. 33 to 1. Facile Mode, and A Piece of Heaven 150 to 1. 9 runners again here, Ed.
Yeah, what a race this is. This really is exciting. Obviously, A Dream to Share. Fantastic scenes, weren't there, at the Champion Festival, in a thrilling race, getting a better Factor File. This really is a little bit of a head scratch. I mean, the absolute the joker in the pack who's moving in here is Tully Hill, who's the Patrick Mullins elect. And I mean, he was devastating how well he went through winning his bumper at Gorham Park. It's it's a bumper, that Gorham Park bumper, which has thrown up some pretty decent horses in recent times. Mainly from the Henry de Bromhead yard, but Ballyadam won it a few years ago. We had Journey with Me win it. Bob Ollinger won the same race. And Tully Hill with a first-time tongue tie on. Well, we all saw it. I'm just stating the obvious, but Patrick didn't have to move, did he, in order to get the job done here. Coming into this race against Dream to Share, it really is exciting stuff. At the prices, though, I'd be a small play here on horse number 9, Western Diego. I think Derek O'Connor's going to get the ride here on this lightly race sort, who dotted up at Nace on debut back in January, and then, as we say, that aforementioned champion bumper finished 7th. It doesn't tell the full story at all, because the horse absolutely pulled Rachel Blackmore's arms out for 80% of that race, and coming to 4 out was still there in front, going well, despite trying to race like Batash. I mean, he just would not settle, and he's clearly a horse who needs to learn and probably will improve with time and racing. But the raw materials are there; it's clear to see. I don't think anyone would dispute that. And I mean, it moved through the race like a really good horse, only for those kind of antics by over racing and racing too free, fell in a hole. When inside the closing stages of Cheltenham, where there was all that scrimmaging, and the horse got hampered as well, if you remember rightly. Rachel Blackmore got squeezed out, and it all ended a bit of a mess. And nonetheless, I think you can upgrade that run from Western Diego. I think it had to do a lot of the donkey work, despite being keen. And if Derek O'Connor could just get this horse with the hood on, just to switch off, I think there's a fair old engine under the bonnet here. So at the prices, I'm gonna take a chance. You're talking, six times the price of the market leader. I think Western Diego is a serious horse. Tully Hill, I'm fascinating in. I'm more fascinated with Tully Hill in regards to next season, what the grand plan is with that son of Marteline. But yeah, Western Diego at a price for me to cause a bit of a turn up.
Western Diego. There is the one for Ed in that bumper, currently 9-1 with Unibet. You mentioned there Tully Hill, the horse Tully Hill beat Will Do, then went on and won next time as well for Gordon Elliott. So franking that form looks to be a cracking bumper there in the 6:30. But the final race we're going to cover is the Handicap Chase. Now, no prices up here yet from Unibet. They are paying an extra place though, a 5th of 4. But we do have prices, kind of market prices, which we can touch upon. And Unibet will be out shortly. Make sure you check Unibet and their prices here when that does come out. But Hard Door is the 3-1 favourite ahead of I Liked the Way You Thinking, 5-1. Lieutenant Command, 6-1. Royal Rendezvous is 6-1 as well. Andy Dufresne, 10-1. Gallant John Joe, 12-1. Egality Mans, 14-1. The Little Yank, 16-1. And Hereditary Rule, 18-1.
Yeah, I'd take a chance here. If you get double figures on Andy Dufresne, I think that's wrong. Personally, like everyone will point to the Grand Annual, didn't totally go to plan, finished 8th, made an absolute mess of the first fence, and then was always playing catch up on the back of that, it has to be said, and never really got into it. I think in the circumstances, George did well to finish 8th, where it was a case of the kind of, the bird have flown with many of those in front here. A young £7 claim has been booked as well. Off the Irish mark of 150 with a £7 claimer on. Ground should be fine. There's one here at the track before. I think if you can get double figures or there or thereabouts, Andy Dufresne, that's just the wrong price. I don't think the result tells the full picture, and I do think there are mitigating circumstances for the performance. You just look at the form book and see, beaten 27 lengths last time out. Again, far from tells the story. I wouldn't be shocked if he massively outrun his odds there. But just going back to that bumper, I've obviously been listening to Andy holding far too much. There is a danger. There is a danger.
Join the club.
There is a danger here. I'm actually, it's probably the first time in my life, most looking forward to a bumper on a national hunt card, which sounds, I really need to go and get myself tested or something, because when you've got Bravemansgame and Galopin Des Champs and all those locking horns, that's almost blasphemy, isn't it? But it is one for the kind of the speed figure gurus, really. But no, that bumper at 6:30 does look epic, and it will have a huge bearing on next season, naturally. But in regards to that 7:05, Yeah, if you can get double figures on Andy Dufresne, just looks the wrong price to me, because I said I just think you can make. There were excuses for his run last time out, and I think they're all valid.
It's interesting you mentioned Andy and the bumpers just before you go, because I asked him to send me his sheet before the Cheltenham Champion bumper, because I wanted to have a bet and didn't want to back anything with the top end. And one of the horses that was towards the top end of his speed figures was Lecky Watson. And I went back and watched Lecky Watson, who came to Cheltenham as a maiden. He was 100 to 1 on the morning of the race. Went back and watched her first 2 runs and raced incredibly keen in both, and ran crackers. And 2 out, you mentioned Western Diego there. 2 out, yeah. I was getting quite excited, and Lecky Watson was massively hampered and ended up still running on for 4th for some place money. So, I mean, yeah, with these champion bumpers, often the eyes can be deceiving and the figures can tell you a hell of a lot. And I think Lecky Watson's actually entered in, hopefully runs in the bumper on Friday, which should be interesting. So we'll get Andy's thoughts at some point. I'm sure. Make sure you read his column on the oddschecker app on Wednesday morning, where I'm sure he'll put something up in the bumper and we can all get involved then.
I was going to say, he couldn't make the show. He's too busy sorting out his Eurovision bets. But yeah, I'm sure he'll get back with it. He'll get back to the day job.
He's got the stopwatch.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, thank you very much to Ed, as ever, for joining us and talking through the card on Wednesday. I'll be back with Johnny Ward tomorrow on Tuesday. We're recording day 3, so keep your eye out on that. Thank you very much to our sponsors, Unibet, for their continued support. If you haven't got a Unibet account, just click on the link below where you can sign up and get the welcome offer, which is money back to up to £40 if your first racing bet loses, plus a £10 casino bonus. Extra places on Wednesday in the 340 and the 705, as I said, and boosting the prices of the 415, the 445, 520, 555 and 630 on the day of racing from 3 o'clock, boosting that FAV price. So make sure you check it out there. Hopefully it should be a great first couple of days to the racing over at Punchestown. Please do ensure that you gamble responsibly. Subscribe to the oddschecker YouTube channel, and you can find the rest of the oddschecker betting show previews up on there. See you there.